Micromanagement is about to get worse. I can't. If you are not being micromanaged, there's a good chance that that's about to change. And I don't say that to scare people or annoy people, but I do want to talk about what is happening and why and what you can do about it ultimately. So we know that there's a lot of uncertainty right now when it comes to the economy, and there's a lot of layoffs and things that are going to continue. I think it's going to continue for a little bit, longer. And this is why some of you are feeling it in different ways at work. You're feeling that squeeze. You're feeling that pressure. It's because your leaders are a disaster. So let's get into briefly what micromanagement is, why this is happening, and what you can do about it. For me, micromanagement is can come from two different places. It can come from your manager directly, but it could also be a part of the company culture in response to all types of nonsense and bad decisions at the top. So first and foremost, when it's coming from your manager, what does it look like? It looks like excessive check-ins. It's always, what you doing? How's it going? What are you doing? What are you working on? Show it to me. They need a lot of proof of things. Show me this. They like to tell you, micromanagers like to tell you how to do things. Like, here's how you're going to do it step by step, instead of letting you, the expert who was hired into the role, do it in the way that makes sense for you, just focusing on what is the desired outcome. Micromanagers like to redo your work without explaining anything. They're going to rewrite it. They're going to redo it. And you're like, you should have just did it yourself to begin with. Why did you even ask me? Why did you even assign this to me? But this is how they maintain control over things. Micromanagers want to be in on all your calls. They want to be at all the meetings. They want to be CC'd on everything. CC me on every email. And they got to sign off on everything. They must sign off on all things. Now, what does micromanagement look like when it's part of the company culture? This is just as annoying. Okay, because sometimes it's not your boss. Your boss doesn't like it either, but it's just a system that you all are working in. So this is like when they have like a fixation on what everybody is doing and making sure that everyone logs everything that they're doing and the time spent on certain things. These environments have a lot of meetings. Oh, they love meetings. But they're not meetings that are meaningful or productive. They're meetings to check in, to see, what everybody is doing, right? And sometimes those meetings are necessary, but it's like, okay, what are you doing? Do you need help somewhere? Are you blocked? Do you need, let's work through it? No, it's like update after update. Like, you didn't need to have a meeting for us to talk about this. There's no room for creativity in these environments. Like, there's a strict protocol for everything. This is how we do it here. It's like you're a robot. Do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Step 5, step 6. There's no way for you to put your own spin on it or figure out like what would work best for you in these environments. Nobody can make a decision on their own. The layers that you will have to go through to get something done, to get something approved. This is micromanagement culture. And surveillance. This is part of it. The way that they, like I mentioned, tracking you, wanting to see, like, are you on your computer? How many times did you touch the keyboard? Like, these environments, you're no longer a person. Okay? You're like, they treat you like you're not a real human. They don't care about that. These are the environments where you feel like Big Brother is watching. Okay, it's quite scary, and it's very annoying for people who are creative, people who want to be innovative. There's no space for that in an environment like this. There's no psychological safety in these environments. Everyone is concerned about saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. There's no trust in any direction. These are terrible environments to be in and day out. Let's get into why this happens. One of the big reasons is you just have poor managers. They're not qualified. They're not well trained. They're not skilled. They don't know how to lead through change. And a lot of this is happening because there's so much change, in our society. You're just in these industries within the company. And there's managers who just aren't equipped to lead a team through any of that. when there's layoffs, people, particularly your managers, I mean everyone, but especially your managers, your middle managers, of course, when there's layoffs, they feel like they have to prove themselves. So they want to make sure their team is on point. They want to make sure you all are doing what you're supposed to do. And they think that by hovering over you and trying to control everything you do, they're going to get results. And it's the opposite. But they don't know that. I'm going to address this management style along with other, 6 other management fails in my book that's coming out in August 2026. So make sure you subscribe to this channel if you want to learn more about when that is coming out and what's happening with that. You can also join my newsletter by going to my website, and I will be asking actually for stories from some of you, anonymous stories about your experiences with these types of managers. Fear is at the root. You're not the only one who's afraid of losing a job and having to figure things out and be in the job search out here. The leaders at your company are also afraid. They're afraid of their shareholders being upset. Okay? They're afraid to lose profits. This is a big deal. This is business. They're afraid of a certain number of people leaving, of certain people leaving. They are afraid that the people who are on the payroll are disengaged. Ooh. Because once your staff is disengaged, you got nothing. So they have all these fears, and instead of moving to a place of let's figure out how we can rebuild trusts with people after layoffs or in a season of uncertainty, let's try to bring our staff in and be more collaborative, they just double down on trying to control everyone, and it just doesn't work. Another reason that micromanagement becomes like a big part of the culture is because when your company does layoffs, they are trying to now do the same work or more work with less people. So the folks who get left behind, who are still there, they have loaded them up with work, and they know that they can't do all of that. And so they're trying to manage the productivity of this smaller number of people by implementing all this nonsense. It's not going to work. So much of this is just fake. It's an illusion. A lot of you know when you're working in a very performative company, they create all this stuff because they want to look like, yeah, we're on top of it. We got this, we track that. We have them document everything. Everyone's working hard. Everyone's doing something. No, they're not. They do all of this without addressing the real issues. And the real issue at the end of the day is leadership's inability to look at themselves. They avoid the reality. The reality is that your strategy is not, inclusive of the knowledge of the people who are probably closer to the bottom of that org chart. That those people can tell you about your customers, your clients, your product, and they understand them on a level that you never will, but you don't listen to them. And you make decisions that impact them in negative ways. You're not transparent. You don't communicate effectively. Change management. What is that? So instead of addressing those issues, you just turn on the staff and you view them, as people who just need to step it up and do more and work harder or else. So what can you do as employees in a culture of micromanagement? You can do your job, and you can do it very, very well. You keep a log of everything. You need to document everything in these environments because people lie and say, oh, you didn't go to that meeting, oh, you didn't watch that recording, oh, you didn't do this. You keep a private log. Don't keep a log on the company computer. You keep it on your private computer. You have your own files tracking everything that you've done and everything that you've attended so that they can't say otherwise later. Choose your battles. There's going to be a lot of issues. There's going to be a lot of things that you don't agree with. Don't bother. Conserve your energy for anything that directly impacts your well-being or your performance. If it doesn't impact your well-being or your performance, forget about it. Don't bother. It's a waste of your time. Control your narrative. Make sure if you do something that they know who did it. You contributed. Speak up in the meetings. Don't let them try to say that you aren't visible or that you haven't done X, Y, and Z. You do it and make sure there's no mistake that it was you, and keep track of it elsewhere. If you do need to challenge things, because sometimes you will, do it politely and be very clear with specifics. Don't just say what you don't like. Say, offer up an alternative that's more simple. Like, I understand that this is probably why we're doing this, but have we considered doing it this way? And do it privately. Don't do it in a meeting in front of everybody, because we know that these folks are fragile. And finally, you got to decide what you're going to tolerate. I don't care what they say about the job market out here. If it's time for you to go, it's time to go. If you need to be looking, you need to be looking. And you need to be looking. Like, if it's time, it's time. Don't let people saying, I've filled out 15,000 applications and haven't gotten hired. Don't let that deter you from looking for something better. If your situation, if they're treating you like a child at work, they're not respecting you as a professional, it is time to go. So let me know if you're feeling it, or you've worked somewhere where you start feeling the micromanagement coming from your boss or just within the company culture overall, and how you handled it. And I also want to know, how did that make you feel about yourself as a professional? How did it make you feel when you went home at the end of the day? Again, subscribe if you haven't. Share this with someone who might be going through an experience in a company like this, and I will catch you in my next video.